Hey ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing? I'm doing alright. I got a great couple of stories for you today. This one right out of the Sky novels. I'm not kidding, not joking, can't make this up. Despite the titles, there have been several attempts to get Snowden. CIA tried in Moscow, or when he was going to Moscow. There were a few issues with that. They tried in 2012 or 2012. There was an attempt in 2014. Now, you know my story, folks. This guy's an insider. This is a reverse bin Laden story. And that basically everybody and anybody is actually protecting this guy. Pretty much the way they did bin Laden back in the day when he was actually an agent. So, this is what it really was about, folks. Now, I have 3 or 4 stories for you. And each one is better than the other. The first story kind of takes off in 2013. That's where they're going to start talking about this. And that document you see before you, folks, is a document, I believe, from Denmark, allowing CIA plane N77GA, a plane that has been used in several, I don't know if you want to say abduction cases, but several cases worldwide. Trying to find the guys that, well, anyways, and what they were doing in Denmark was they were basically getting permission. That's the letter that you see before you. And they were getting permission to actually go in and get this guy, and things kind of fell apart. It's almost really to a point where if you were working this case, folks, you would believe that somebody was pulling the strings. So what this is from the U.S. ambassador or U.S. Embassy in Copenhagen. There's the email right there. Council, I can't make that out. Something m@state.gov. Air Navigation Services. Supervisor ACC Cabrin gives an address, number, an email, a date, a reference number. This is all a CIA app. This has already been declassified. You can go into documents and find out all the major details, folks. But basically, Norway asked Denmark for these documents, and it's been circulating the internet for a little while. So all this stuff is declassified at this point. None of this is going to get anybody, you or me or anybody else, in trouble. So let me go into the document, because the document actually is worthwhile reading. So you got the U.S. Embassy of Copenhagen. You got the Air Navigation Services in that area with a reference number, a date, and basically it says as following: overflying and landing permission for USA State Flight on 27/06/2013 and 26/06/2013 plus minus 72 hours. Referring to your application on 24/06/2013 in accordance with 156 of Danish Air Navigation Services, USA is hereby granted permission to fly over and land in Danish Greenland territory 25/06/2013 and on 26/06/2013 plus or minus 72 hours by the Civil Registered Aircraft Registration NG77GA or substitute. Please note that it is a condition that the aircraft are exclusively operated for the state purposes of a non-commercial nature, and that the operation of any civil registered aircraft than the ones mentioned in this letter is subject to prior approval of the NAVAIR. Further, it is a condition that the flights are operated in accordance with existing ICAO rules and regulations and the applicable Danish Air Navigation Act and relevant regulations. So this was a confirmed status that they had to actually register the flight, and this is what they had to do. They had to do this ahead of time. And so you got it here in 2013 that they used this. Let me see if I can find where it says that they use this exact plane. Ah, yes, here it is. So I'll show you this in a minute. I'm just reading it off as I find it because I have like 4 documents open. You might recall that the N977GA has a checkered past, with David Willis writing in 2008 Air Force Monthly plane has been issued CIA's program for extradition rendition against terrorist suspects, quote unquote. On October 12, 2015 or 2012, it was used and owned under a Dassault Falcon 900 with other 2 planes that carried suspects Abu Hamza, Babar Ahmad, Saad Hassan, Khulud al-Fawaz, Abu Bawi to the United States to face trial after losing extradition in the United Kingdom. And then basically it goes into the Snowden story, saying that FBI and Snowden, State Department, and other government agencies were meeting on a nearly daily basis to apprehend Snowden, according to a recent report in Washington Post. And I have that open. So this is actually the plane that they use, folks, to actually grab the guys that they need to grab to move them back here. Now, here's the situation, folks. I'll show you all this. It's right in the document. It's not even hard to find. But remember in, what was it? Remember in Fast 5 that they said that the diplomatic security service guys were the ones that kind of go after these types? Kind of funny how CIA is doing their job. Oh, he's a special case. I disagree. But anyway, folks, so without further ado, I'm going to start showing you some of this stuff so that you can start benefiting from it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over, and I'm going to show you the one that this is about. And it basically says the plane was used for exclusive purposes for non-commercial nature, talking points to transport ministry and journalists about the plane. There's a heavily redacted email indicating between senior officials in Denmark, police, foreign ministry, justice department. You guys get the idea. Let me go up so that I can actually benefit from this and you can benefit from this. So the story of the private aircraft, the Gulfstream V, with registration N977GA, first reported registry June 2014. The plane was previously used by American intelligence to secretly transport terror suspects to clandestine detention facilities in Europe, flew from D.C. to Scotland to Copenhagen. Reported, here's WikiLeaks, Scotland, Denmark, used for U.S. failed Edward Snowden rendition flight mission. So this was in Black Ops. This is all on the books, folks. And this is when I believe Russia took them in. So, I mean, another attempt was August of 2015. Danish news website filed a number of freedom of information requests in the government of Copenhagen. And that's how they basically got this. So that's how this happened. Den Free USA send flight for Denmark at, the mission of Snowden. There's the URL. Den Free hashtag DK poll. So you guys can go into all this. I mean, it's all right here, folks. I mean, this is nothing secret. Edward Snowden supposedly responds back with a Russian tag. Remember when the PM Rasmussen said Denmark shouldn't respect asylum law in my case? Turns out, basically, he had a secret. I'm not going to go into that, but here's another one claiming that they tried something. They tried electronic surveillance in 2013 involving a program with journalists. So there's that. Here's the one I was reading. That's not the plane. That's a different plane. Yes. Wait, no, that's not it. Hang on. All right, so here's the one where it says that they basically use the N977GA for CIA program for extraordinary rendition against terror suspects, and then they get into the 7 guys they sent away when they caught them for extradition battle in the UK or from the UK. So this just goes into it, folks. I mean, there's a lot here. I don't want to read this to you. Here's one from the Washington Post on the same subject matter. This just goes in and names basically everything. I don't know so much if you want to trust the media or not, or what the intelligence officials allow to leak out. But you guys get the idea here, folks. I think this one is on his early out from involving the FSB and CIA and everybody. So, also involves the National Security Council spokesman. So, this is all right here, folks. This is nothing amazing. This is all good. And so, you guys get the idea here. This is actually a good case. This is actually a good story, a good beginning, good everything. And in every one of these, the what do I want to say? The operation failed because either Moscow allowed him to transport, or something else happened. And it always kind of seemed like as soon as they got ready to go get him, somebody made a phone call and he got on the next flight and he took off. Almost like, hey, the older guys that were running the thing called him up and said, well, not today, guys. So that's kind of what I feel. I still think he's a puppet. I still think it's a reverse Bin Laden story. I mean, this guy, he could be in Miami for all we know. I've seen guys walking around look like him every day, day in and day out. And, a new name. He wears his hair differently. Hey, aren't you Snowden? No, of course not. And then he'd go on his way. So, you guys talk about this and everything. I found this and I thought it was worth putting out. Thank you guys.